Man, what y'all wearing on the first day? On the first game day? That all white, them all whites, huh? We had to bust y'all down to all white cleats, man. We had to bust y'all down to all white cleats.
How about that? That is Ramon Richards, a product of East San Antonio and recently retired pro football player, back home with a big surprise. He's outfitted the entire Sam Houston High School football team with brand new cleats right before the start of the season. And that's not the last donation from the former star either. Richards is a Breckenridge alum, makes a point to give back to athletes from his home city with football camps, mentoring, and, of course, new swag.
They crispy white, you know, go with our uniform. We wear it a lot. We like all white, so it matches perfectly.
Yeah, I needed their attention first. I knew they wouldn't listen to me unless I brought something. No, I'm joking. But the main thing is to give to them, and then, you know, give them a message. Anything I can do to inspire them, and just if I can just change their trajectory towards their future just a little bit, you know, that's what I want to do. And not only inspire them, but if I can inspire them, I've inspired their siblings and their parents and whatever that may be.
That's really motivation, because we never had that before. So that's really motivation to push harder, have a good season.
That is so awesome. This is just a piece of what Richards is doing for local athletes. Next, he plans on opening a community center in Inner City, San Antonio. All right, to the court. Girls high school volleyball. Antonian College Prep is off to a great start this year. They're 9-2 already. They started a tournament in Bravo yesterday. They defeated big dogs such as Clark, Brandeis. That's no easy task. Last year, Antonian finished 36-12 overall, advancing to TAP 6A state semifinal. Facing big-time schools is exactly what this team needs as they prepare for a very tough district and another deep playoff run.
I think it's really good for us and important, just the fact that we've seen all of these UIL 6A teams and we're beating them, and just the fact that this is great practice for us going into district and what we're going to see for the future at state.
I feel like it also gives us a grasp of how to play in certain situations. They have some really big hitters, and that's things that we're going to see coming up in the future. So I felt like it gives us some good preparation, and playing together as a team is always an opportunity for us to create better chemistry with each other. So that's something that we really enjoyed.
Yeah, that's one of the keys. Coach McClure says they're not relying on just one person this year. It has been and will continue to be a team effort. Spurs fans are going to get to see rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama play his first NBA game at home to start this NBA season. The Spurs released their 2023-24 regular season schedule, and the Spurs will have only 19 national televised games. That's the Wemby effect. That's a lot of games compared to the one last year. San Antonio will open the regular season October 25th at home. They'll take on the Mavs and Luka Doncic. Their first road game is October 29th at the Clippers. They'll face the NBA champion Denver Nuggets on the 26th on the road. And the Spurs are going to host Boston 6 p.m. on New Year's Eve. What a party night that's going to be. They're going to open the 2024 season on the road at Memphis. The 9-game rodeo road trip takes place from February 7th through the 27th. There's a break in there for the All-Star game after 5 games. And the Spurs are going to close out their regular season April 14th at Detroit. And, of course, yes, they're going to play 2 games in Austin again this season, the 15th of March and then the 17th of March. Denver first and then Brooklyn. And they'll play those once again at the Moody's. And remember last year, the Austinites came out big time. A lot of folks from San Antonio went up there as well, but Austin loved to see the Spurs play. So we'll see what happens this year.
I have a feeling all these games are going to be packed.
I think so. Yeah, they're selling some season tickets quick. So
now there's more coming up. It's a popular vacation destination, and apparently bed bugs love it too. Which Las Vegas Strip hotspots had customers bugging out?
Thousands of people suffer from cardiac arrest each year, and many of those cases are deadly. But there are steps you can take to avoid a tragedy. The 3 things before a cardiac arrest emergency. Coming up.
Former President Donald Trump now says he won't be holding a press conference next week. He was planning to unveil what he claims is new evidence of fraud in the 2020 election in Georgia. However, he now says his lawyers advised him not to do that, posting on social media that his lawyers, quote, would prefer putting this in formal legal filings, end quote. Meanwhile, Trump's defense team is requesting that his trial in the special counsel's 2020 election interference case be pushed to April 2026, citing what they're calling an overwhelming amount of evidence. The judge will hear from both sides on that matter in a pretrial hearing set for August 28th.
Back here in Texas, the new details in the impeachment filings against Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The new filings released Wednesday by State House impeachment manager allege Paxton used burner phones, a secret email account, and an Uber alias to communicate with a controversial donor. They say it shows the links Paxton allegedly went to in order to help real estate investor Nate Paul uncover his tracks. The Texas House of Representatives impeached Paxton in May for alleged misconduct. He denies the allegations and has called them politically motivated. Paxton's impeachment trial is Texas Senate expected to begin next month. Governor Greg Abbott's border buoys are making headlines again, and federal court filing says the majority of those floating barriers were put in Mexican territory. Texas has previously claimed constitutional authority over the deploying of those buoys. Now, U.S. and Mexican officials are talking about how to proceed. The Justice Department sued Texas last month, demanding the buoys' removal. A hearing in that case is scheduled for next week.
A manhunt is over for a suspect accused of shooting a Harris County Sheriff's deputy in the Houston area. The incident triggered a blue alert across the state. The Harris County Sheriff says the suspect, Taryn Green, was taken into custody around midnight. During their confrontation with Green last night, 2 other law enforcement officers were shot. However, the sheriff says those officers are in good condition today. Earlier in the day yesterday, authorities took the second suspect in the case, James Green, into custody. In a statement on Twitter today, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez commented about the arrest, saying, quote, "Incredible work by Harris County SWAT, and our negotiators appreciate the assist by Houston Police SWAT and all our public safety partners. Well done."
Outside with live cam, you see a little temperature, the little thermometer down there in the corner at 12:05.
Oh, did you make a note?
I did. At 12:04, it was 94 degrees.
See?
So how many minutes is that? 30 minutes?
Yeah.
It went up 3 degrees
On the
already?
dot. 30 minutes on the dot.
Ooh, ain't wasting no time, are they?
Nope, another triple-digit day on tap. And of course, yes, we still do have a little bit of the humidity in place right now. So we do have a heat index value, but later on this afternoon, that's going to drop off just a bit more, and that's going to help out. But of course, it is still going to be another scorcher of a day. Take a look at our dew point trend. We'll see that drop off, and yes, that will help because you can see with those yellow numbers there next to the actual air temperature, which are the white numbers, those heat index values a few degrees hotter. So it actually feels like 98 right now with an air temperature of 95 over at the airport. Feels like 101 in Bulverde, 102. That feels like temperature out east in Gonzales. Actual air temperature there about 94. But that will help out with that uncomfortableness later on this afternoon. But it is still going to be a day to stay hydrated if you have to be outside. Of course, picking up the kiddos from school and stepping out for any of those Friday evening plans, getting ready to kick off the weekend. 105 by 5 p.m. Then notice by 8 p.m. barely making it down into the upper 90s. We should still see those clear skies in place. And of course, it will get a little breezy as well. By the way, I know we were talking about consecutive triple-digit days earlier in the newscast. Let's talk about triple-digit days as a whole. Today will make our 53rd triple-digit day so far this year. We're just going to keep climbing, though, over the next few days. 104 tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, and then 103 Sunday and into Monday. But after that, if we can find some tropical moisture and a few rain chances, it's possible we don't get up to 100 by Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, plus the fire danger that stays high this weekend in just a few.
Seven well-known hotels on the Las Vegas Strip are being reported for having bed bugs in the past couple years. That's according to records from the Southern Nevada Health District that are now public. The hotels include Caesars Palace, Planet Hollywood, Circus, Palazzo, Tropicana, MGM Grand, and Sahara. Most or all of the facilities have protocols for prevention and treatment and appear to have promptly addressed the problem. Experts say guests can check for bed bugs by turning off the lights and using a flashlight to inspect beds and sofas.
More than 356,000 people suffer cardiac arrest outside of the hospital every year here in the U.S., and up to 80% of them die before reaching the hospital. According to the American Heart Association, using an automated external defibrillator, or AED, can significantly increase chances of survival, but you have to know how to use it. CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on what a doctor says you need to know before there's an emergency.
It can happen in an instant, and a person in cardiac arrest needs help right away.
You have 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes from the person fainting till the AED restores a normal rhythm before you are likely to sustain brain damage.
Dr. Naomi Cortez with Nationwide Children's Hospital says she sees all too often the consequences of people not knowing what to do.
In the last year, I have had patients who have fainted at school. The AED was around the corner. Nobody used it, and the child died.
That's why she says it's critical to know 3 things before a cardiac arrest emergency. First, people need access to automated external defibrillators so they can be used. They need to also be able to get to them quickly, Cortez says, within 2 minutes of any place in a building. Finally, people need to know how to use the AED, be comfortable getting it off the wall and putting it on the patient. She says the device will do the rest.
The minute someone faints and they don't wake up, somebody should be calling 911, somebody should be doing CPR, and somebody should be getting that AED.
A person may be in cardiac arrest if they collapse suddenly, pass out, aren't breathing, or are gasping for air, don't respond to shouting or shaking, or if they don't have a pulse. Cortez says running drills every year can help get people prepared just in case. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor also says that cardiac arrest can be caused by structural problems or abnormalities in the heart, but she says it's impossible to screen for all things that can cause the dangerous condition. For example, a heart infection or a hit to the chest can also cause cardiac arrest, and that's why she says it's always good to be prepared.
A local librarian has a way with words, and it led her to champion status. How she's making San Antonio proud, competing against other Scrabble lovers.
Let's look for a cloud. Just, okay, well.
You might be looking for a little while.
That was quick.
Yeah, we've got plenty of sunshine. And sure, maybe we could find a cloud later on this afternoon. But that's still going to be the big theme for today. By the way, if our forecast high of 105 verifies, that will tie the existing record set back in 1909. So far, we're officially at 95, so we've got about 10 more degrees to go. But with all that sunshine, certainly is possible and expected. All right, coming up, still plenty to talk about in terms of fire danger, the drought monitor, potential rain chances, and what else is brewing in the Atlantic Basin. We'll have those details after the break.
You know, most of the time we look forward to the weekend, but I'm actually looking forward to the next week when the temperature is like well below 100. We won't know what to do with ourselves if it's like 95.
But we'll also see maybe some rain.
Maybe.
Yeah,
fingers crossed, because we definitely need it. It is no secret that it has been incredibly dry for the past several weeks in and around San Antonio and across South Central Texas. And of course, that is one of the reasons why fire danger has also been so elevated. And we still have those high to very high fire danger conditions in place today. So fire safety tips, everything from not parking recently driven vehicles on dry grass to no activities that could create sparks outside. All of that's still very important to think about as we head into the upcoming weekend for any of those weekend plans that you might have. Dry grasses and vegetation, the lower afternoon humidity that we were talking about a little bit earlier, as well as the breezy winds picking back up when those temperatures start to drop off in the evenings. That all helps create those high fire danger conditions. And speaking of dry grasses and vegetation, if you missed it yesterday, this is the latest drought monitor update that was released. And we also saw worsening drought, also to nobody's surprise. This red color extreme drought now includes all of Bexar County, even exceptional drought across the northwestern portions of the county, and severe drought now in place across the coastal plains. And you can see, at least across the state of Texas, Texas, we still have some of the worst drought conditions in place, also into East Texas as well. But when you compare that to the Panhandle, they don't have any drought in place at all. So yes, we do need some rain chances. And while we still do have some uncertainties with these currently in the forecast Tuesday and into Wednesday, it still is looking like we will find some tropical moisture that will at least try to move into parts of South Texas that could help kick up some widely scattered showers and storms. So this is the setup. That heat high still in place for us this weekend. The main driver of our weather pattern that does shift farther up to the north, though, as we head into Monday and Tuesday of next week. And then we start to see that tropical wave move through the western Gulf of Mexico and approach portions of South Texas. This is just one possibility, though, of what rainfall potential could look like into early next week. This particular model keeping most of it south of San Antonio, but it's just going to depend on the exact track that tropical wave takes as it does move through that basin. Right now, just to the north of the Dominican Republic, this is what we're monitoring here. And as it does move over the warm waters, we'll have to see if it can strengthen or organize a little bit more. Right now, just a 30% potential for some tropical development there issued by the National Hurricane Center. So a lot of time to monitor that. But I do want to turn your attention as well through the rest of the Atlantic Basin, well off to our east, because you can see the tropics are waking up. Behind that wave, 3 more areas to monitor, one having a low, another having a medium, and then the one way out east having a high chance of tropical development over the next 7 days. So we'll need to monitor that as well as we near the official peak of hurricane season, which is on September 10th. But you can see what our temperatures could look like by Tuesday and into Wednesday if we can find some rain chances, maybe not climbing above 100 degrees. So that would definitely be a welcome change, because until then, already in the mid-90s here in town, 105, that forecast high by about 5 p.m. Triple digits still with us this weekend, so please be careful out there in this heat and definitely check back in for updates as we continue to monitor the potential for, yes, some rain as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday.
So the pools are still going to be busy.
That is for sure. Sunscreen. Don't forget the sunscreen, too.
Thanks, Bia.
Hey, a local librarian turned Scrabble champ, spelling out her secret to success. How many points is that worth? How she's able to form all those words and get all those points coming up.
Word on the street is a local librarian is a national Scrabble champion.
A Burbank High School librarian recently won in her division at the National Scrabble Championship, Las Vegas.
Sarah Costa spoke with the Scrabble champ about her love for textiles and what it takes to never be at a loss for words.
My mom liked Scrabble and my aunt. They were both, wordsmiths. They loved it, and that kind of just got me interested.
From just interested to a Scrabble champ, Jennifer D. Walshy, the librarian at Burbank High School, won first place in Division 4 at the Scrabble Players Championship in Las Vegas this summer. It was her husband that got her into playing competitively. It's actually how they met.
We played our first game on our second date, and I beat him.
It was words at first sight.
But he knew that I was a player, so I got his attention.
Jennifer says her competitive career started out like a bag of jumbled letters. Her first tournament in 2012 was a HOT mess.
I lost every game, and I wasn't sure if I was cut out for that because I was pretty competitive and I didn't like losing that much. But by my third tournament, I actually came in second and won like $25 at that tournament.
She says she began teaching Scrabble at her then middle school as an after-school club.
29.
That helped her become the queen of the Scrabble dictionary.
And the highest scoring word that Jennifer's ever played? Inquired for 203 points, played as a triple-triple. But what about the word that helped her win at nationals?
Stalker, S-T-O-C-K-E-R.
At the championship, Jennifer went on a winning streak, winning 14 games in a row, and says that word helped her come back in a match that she thought she would for sure lose.
And I was losing by over 100 points in the middle of the game, and I was almost giving up. But I drew the blank, which was very helpful. I got a bingo down, and then had the blank, drew the E that I needed, and I was able to put the word stalker down,
which helped her stock up on the points and win her division. Her advice to those who want to play like her: read a lot, study your Scrabble cheat sheet and player's dictionary, and have board vision.
And knowing, when to open up the board or shut it down or finding those great plays. It's strategy, it's the art of competition and learning how to be a gracious winner and a gracious loser, So there's just so many things that you get out of Scrabble.
For KSAT 12 News, I'm Sarah Costa.
5, 6, 7. That was worth 8 points. That's not too bad. Congratulations to her. That's
yes, congratulations. Amazing.
So how many points is SA Live worth?
I gotta do the math. I know. That was a cute story. I love how they edited that. Yes, it's a fun Friday. We have more school spirit happening here on set. We have the East Central cheerleaders joining us today. I love it. All week long, we've had some school spirit featuring different athletic teams, dance teams, cheerleaders, and we are going to get a performance from them a little later in the show. So excited about that. Also, that's quite a workout too, what they do. And we're also talking about workouts for your kids that you can do at home from ages 6 all the way to high school. And these are easy things you can do at home with them. And we're continuing with school spirit. Somerset is one of the schools at the KSAT Pigskin Classic happening this month, and we are getting a preview from their band. Again, the bands work so hard as well, practicing for these routines. Our social question today is, what was your first job? So we got to think about that. I didn't know. David Sears, bus driver. How about that? So share your answers. Maybe we'll share them a little later in the show. We have a QR code on our screen that you can scan right now. Also, if you're hungry, well, great. We've got to cover today. Our David Elder is taking us inside Alamo Springs Cafe. That burger right there, one of the best, apparently. Ooh, I got to try that. Yes, that and much more coming up on SA Live.